of them. This one has this like sandblasted surface, just because the cast was just really, I'm not a jewelry manufacturer fabricator, but yeah, it looks bad. And then questionable collateral. The counterfeit is going to spend all their time on the object, and normally this is always secondary. So sometimes the box, the receipt, the papers, the dust bag can give it all away. And then the finishing. This is that's probably like a $200 keychain these days. But if you look at the genuine, the ball is set on there, it's very clean. On this counterfeit, it's just kind of all merged and morphed into one piece. Okay, good time. Let's talk about influencers and their counterfeits. If you've seen any influencer, they've got a stack of these up their arm, don't they? The Cartier Love bracelet. And Amazon and Cartier jointly filed suit against this group of influencers because they were using link in bio and affiliate links to send them to Amazon to buy what looks like a plain bracelet for $29. But if you go into the comments, or I would love the comments, and you look at the customer images, when they get it in the mail, it has the screw head motif. It even has, some of them are even marked Cartier on the inside. So that was good. They won. The influencers, they had to hand over their intellectual property, the value of that intellectual property of their social media handles to Amazon and Cartier. So taking steps that they can't continue to do this. Oftentimes, when you win a counterfeit suit against defendant X in other country, you can't get any money for it, but you can get their websites, their names, and different things like that, which makes it harder to prevent, it makes it harder for them to do it again. So, Cartier. We're seeing genuine gold Cartier counterfeits with genuine diamonds. That's when it comes into like knowing your goods, right? Cartier should be VVS, Cartier should be 18 on the dot. Cameras or phones are so good these days that you can blow this out. And I mean, I don't even use a loop anymore, you guys. I have it in my bag always, but I take a picture and blow it, so it's huge. Another great thing to do is then take a picture of a known genuine signature and then a picture of the one that you're curious about. Change the transparency in Canva or something like that and try to do a layover and see how it works. Okay, of course, there's curvature in rings and bracelets, right? So you've got to kind of allow for that. But it's a great tool, costs nothing, and it's very quick. Serialization, it's an alphanumeric, 2 letters, 4 numbers normally. However, we see here, it's 3 letters and 3 numbers, so that's fun. We have these ones with Italian assay marks. That one up there, I think that's a Swiss Saint Bernard. And so depending on the country where they're going to be sold, they might have different markings, also where they were made, right? And so there is inconsistency. You can even have two rings at the store that were delivered from corporate at the same time, but if they were made in different places, they're gonna look a little different. And then of course, I did all the Capucci love bracelet the other day, and right, no Cartier marking, base metal gold, still worth $1,000 today. But when things are manufactured over different times, over different decades, the signatures change. Brands always are changing their fonts, their logos to stay current. However, I've never seen them use an octagonal shape around the next. The cover mark. So that's cute. Next. Oh, hold on. Assay mark, serialization, script load. Yeah, cool. Oh, Cartier.com. Yeah. So for a while, when Cartier.com first launched, they took pictures of real jewelry, and there was the serial number very evidently in the image. And so that's one of the most counterfeited serial numbers out there for Cartier. So since then, they photoshopped it out. So if you look at on the Cartier website, you won't see any kind of hallmarks or assay marks on their examples, on their stock images, but that doesn't mean that's how it's supposed to look when you in IRL, right? Look here. Yeah, just another note on how inconsistent Cartier can be. These are all genuine love bracelets on this side, and they all have different markings. it doesn't, I don't know what QO versus QW versus QK means, and it's not really important. It's important to have your different elements, your copyright, your logo, your size, your serial number, your purity stamps, and then the other purity stamps, like PGI, Platinum Group International, but it's on yellow gold. Why is that? It's because there's a little bit of platinum in their recipe. And so we'll talk about gold recipes in a little bit as a way to determine what's counterfeit and what's not. However, these are supposed to be 18. If they test anything than 18, it's not Cartier. If the diamonds are SI, it's not Cartier. If it has an awesome serial number like that, it's not Cartier. And then how blurry that one is there, that's a pretty obvious counterfeit, but yeah, it was available. Next, we have the Van Cleef. Van Cartier's parent company is currently, right now, suing Maladani Jewelry out of New York. I don't know if they're here. Because they were selling these at trade shows. I've probably seen them if you go to any of the shows. And they were selling them between $1,500 and $9,000. This is not your Amazon $22.99 counterfeit. Like, this is crazy. Again, made of genuine gold, genuine stone, like that is not turquoise. We know that's not turquoise. Let's be clear, but you know, right? These materials aren't expensive. You can get your hands on them and use a little bit of gold to make something very convincible or convincing. So Richemont is seeking $2 million per mark used. So that's going to be a very large reward if they succeed. Premium materials, and the salespeople were saying that, oh, your wife will be unable to distinguish it. So they knowingly were selling it as a feature, as a net benefit, that was passable. So let's look at some things. Okay. Non-sequential cereals. This is something, yeah. Van Cleef. It's awesome when brands, you know, use alphanumeric or sequential serials. It helps you date it. It helps you kind of place where, when, and why. Van Cleef doesn't. They use different prefixes for different jewelry lines, different special editions. So there's really no decoding the serial numbers. It's always still really great to look at them, of course, but there's that. The assay marks, just like Cartier, the different markets where they're sold, they may have different marks on it. So, oh gosh, I had someone call up, I want to return this $22,000 bracelet because mine doesn't have an eagle's head on it. Well, man, let me educate you. So, there you go. These are my kinds. I don't buy or sell professionally, I just assess. If we can look at this material here, we have lots of gaps. It's bulging up top. It just it's not mounted and fitted well. Look at the top. We have a genuine example of the Alhambra motif. Really beautiful beadwork versus these two. And VCA in like a Helvetica. We have VCA all versus the weighted and serifed VCA and purity mark on the genuine piece. Also the clasp. Some brands use generic findings, right? As we talked about a little bit, kind of like this. But if you see that on a Van Cleef, that's not okay, unless it's maybe very vintage. But we have this lovely lighthouse and the VCA in a losange or diamond shape. I count how many spirals go around because they mess up. This one has like 4. I know it's blurry because it's 8 million times magnified, but you know, devil's in the details. How balanced is it? What's the curvature of the C, the spread of the A and the V? And then there's a number on the clasp as well. It's a very interesting shaped clasp, from the thumb hole to the ovular shape of it. It's not a generic piece by any means. XRF and purity. Yeah, these are like kind of essential, I find, when doing branded hardware or branded jewelry, simply because we want it to be 18 on the dot, right? And they're such valuable pieces, you don't want to scratch it, of course. And when you can break down the recipe, you can really feel much, much more confident about it. All different kinds, from $30,000 down. you can get some great used ones that were used in the field in mineralogy purposes, mining, for a couple of $1,000s. And then some work more user-friendly, some are more complicated. So whatever fits you and your budget, there's something out there. There is a tool out there that you can acquire. However, don't be cheap, because, damn it. Because they counterfeit two things, everything and anything. And look, it's a counterfeit Kasoy XRF for $100 on AliExpress. So, yeah, you can go ahead and buy it. Can you trust the results? Absolutely not. But gosh, they took the exact same image, right? This is the same image on the Kasoy website as on the Alibaba listing, or AliExpress, same thing. It is. So that's, and then you can get your windshield wiper blades for $6. I was actually talking on the phone about windshield wiper blades 2 days ago, so I'm sure that's why it's there. Yep. So yeah, I have clients pawn shops, and they send me these pictures. Is this good? This is kind of fun. But if you look, so a Cartier, and I think that might be the same one. Testing in 2 different areas, we're getting slightly different reads. This one, the X-ray is still on, so I don't know why they sent a picture of it while it was still calculating. Let's not do that. But it's training and retraining. This is a different client and a different readout here, and we're looking at, I'd say plus or minus 0.1, right? 17.9 to 18.1 I'm comfortable with. And I like to test in multiple areas. If you look also, this is white gold, so we have palladium at the very top higher, whereas with yellow gold, let's see, that one. And then some really small traces of iridium, I think, and iron. So it's interesting to see the recipes that the brands use to mix to get the exact color that they want, right? A very pink rose gold, a very champagne yellow gold, green gold, right? However they want this aesthetically to look by adding different elements, right? And then here, this is a love bracelet. It's gold. It's somewhere between 13 and 16 carats. And of course, when the diamonds fluoresce like that, that's not standard Cartier quality, so that's the first kind of red flag. The first thing I noticed, which is that the picture, that looks so orange. But, it's a picture. She could have had a really orange outfit on that day, I don't know. So you can't always do that in everything, but it sure raises a flag. And then when we looked really closely at the Cartier stamp, it's so light, and it's all kind of squished together. The serial, again, is 3 letters and then 3 numbers, which should raise a red flag. And then I asked her to test the point of the nail head, right, on the Justin Clou, and the hinge. And that's where we're getting different readings. Simply because those are the areas that are going to get more wear and that the consumer doesn't really see, right? Especially this hinge area here. So if there is a heavy plating, it probably won't be that heavy in this section. Also, you can see that it's kind of poorly finished. So she worked very hard to position them. In fact, I finally got them. Thank goodness we were able to pass on that. As a jewelry expert, you may be asked about you will be asked about other items that maybe don't fall into your milieu. But let's give you some tips and tricks so you can talk to them. Let's start with Rolex. Rolex, extremely litigious as well, right? So no aftermarket. They consider it counterfeit. If there's an aftermarket face, aftermarket bezel, aftermarket hands, aftermarket bracelet, anything customized, if you drill in there and set diamonds, they consider that counterfeit. It nulls and void your warranty, and they've been able to legally make businesses stop selling these items. So you might get away with it now, but if you get big enough and successful enough, you'll target. And this could be because the watch market's down, and maybe they have more free time on their hands, or they need to Yep, some GMV. As we know, the watch market has been pretty soft, but here's some. So this is just for laughs. I don't. Whoa! No, don't look. Everyone, close your eyes. There you go. Like I said, just for laughs. This is a fun day date. Japan movement. We know that should not be. But, you know, at least they're being honest. This one, I've never seen a bezel like that. That's so silly. Look at how the bracelet's set between the lugs. There's so much space. And then you flip it over and it has an exposition case back, which Rolex does not do. So just for laughs. This is a Ballon Bleu, but on the back it says it's a Pasha. So turn the watch over, please. Like, here's a little tip. The pin in the genuine Ballon Bleu, the blue handles, should be the white metal. On the counterfeit, it's blue also. So that's actually a pretty good thing. Take it or leave it. You know, on the counterfeit, they put the Cartier on the 7, and they have some interesting guilloche and millwork on the face. There's probably a synthetic spinel on the crown, but then they miss something so obvious as the case back. Let's talk about Chanel. Like earlier, I said not everything that's gold is gold, right? Everything that's golden is gold. There's sometimes a misconception that because a Chanel brooch is $1,200 that it's real gold or stones. And in fact, it's absolutely not. This is because we're following the line of lawsuits, Chanel sued this company in upcycling buttons and other findings from genuine Chanel pieces into jewelry pieces. So these are buttons from a jacket or a sweater or something that either is so unfashionable, no one wants it, or is damaged and they take them off. And but it's still a misuse of their trademarks and their intellectual property. So don't do that. Chanel costume jewelry uses Swarovski elements. So if you ever do need to replace a piece, that's how you can, or stone. We'll look at the hallmarks. Chanel started costume jewelry in the 1920s, but she was getting gifted all this real jewelry like Verdura, etc. And she worked with several designers, Louison, Miriam Pascal, and then we'll talk about Victoire de Castellane in a moment. So, 2 brooches. This one doesn't exist, otherwise I would have had an exact lifeline. But if you just flip it over, like, this is so messy. The pin is glued on there. You know, the setting here is lovely. We have like great little beadwork. We have all these in the cutouts. The end of the stick pin has a CC on it. It's just well finished. Is it worth $1,200? You decide. But it's much better finished than that one. Patience. Okay. Here's my necklace. It's great. Google Lens. Who loves Google Lens? You have to love Google Lens. I'm sorry. I got this submitted. I Google Lensed it. It brought me right to Chanel.com for here. And I said, let's see if we need to go any deeper. No, not at all. If you look at the inner petal, it's 5 leaves, the camellia, which is Chanel's favorite flower, because it had no scent and it's asymmetrical. But the inner petal is turned, is pivoted, right? Whereas this one, they're aligned. So that was a quick assessment. I always find the binary. Find that yes, no, where it either is or it isn't, and then you're done. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. You'll never see Chanel jewelry pieces in the 20s or 40s. I guarantee it. I don't think I've ever seen one, to be honest with you. I've literally seen these 2 pictures, and I've been using these 2 pictures as reference for 10 years, 20 years. 40s to 70s, you will see. And then, of course, everything on the production is higher and higher. In the 70s, we start using copyright and registered trademark markings. And then in the 80s, they start putting the beer on them, which is pretty cool. But then they stop. And in 1984, Victoire de Castellane started working at Chanel as a model and youth, and Mr. Carl. Victoire's family goes back to 10th century nobility in France. Her grandmother is a countess, married into the Hennessy family. So, you know, she really needed the job, but she certainly knows jewelry. So she designed for Chanel for about 13 years, and since then she's been the head of Dior Haute Joaillerie. So if you like Dior, you got her to thank for it. If you don't like Dior, you got her to thank for it. She's never leaving because Dior is owned by LVMH. So what's the H stand for in LVMH?
Hennessy. Yeah.
So in the 80s, they switched over to this code. I can code it for you guys. You're welcome. Season 23 is 1984. Season 24 is 1985. And what's kind of cool about that is the clothing from this period also uses those collections. So it was just like a no duh. Like when we finally. Honestly, it took us a couple of years to figure it out, I'm sorry. And then in 1991, they went blank until the next iteration, which is so much easier, you guys. They put the year and the season right on there, right? So 98P, printemps, spring, French, remember French, you guys. Autumn, although S is for summer, so whatever. But I digress. They're gonna do what they want to do. I was talking to someone last night. They're like, "You're so good." I would bring you a piece of Chanel jewelry, and you look at it, and you instantly know what season of a year it's from. Yeah. It just says it on it. 98P, 98P, 14V. What is V? Continuous. That's probably like for CC earrings that they carry every season. So then you can. Chanel's always been popular. You can go and you can see the runway images from these seasons, and you can find it if you want, or you can at least find more information about that collection and really romance and storytell if you so choose. Yeah. So even on some handbags, they're using genuine fine materials, such as this Hermes Himalaya Birkin with over 10 carats of diamonds, 18 karat gold, and BBBS, SSS quality stones. The very first ones, the hardware, the metal findings were made by Cartier, and they're hallmarks Cartier, but I couldn't find a picture of it, even asking like most of my network. So you'll just have to take my word for it. And then Hermes starts doing them in-house. You'll see they have accent marks and hallmarks, just like any fine piece of jewelry should. What else might you get asked about? Oh, here's some more Hermes. This is a $214,000 sterling silver little Kelly bag, made in Mexico. So, okay. Just, you know, if Tiffany can do it, something else. This is fun. We've seen these H buck. I bet you out there some gentleman is wearing one right now. However, this one's marked 18K. No, Hermes has never done an 18K belt buckle. You'll see one with diamonds. They've never done diamonds on it. They're brass. They're perma brass coated base metal. They've never done one that's 18 karat. And most people don't even, I think when they have it, they don't even notice the 18Ks on it. They don't even think that it's supposed to be genuine. They just think it's a standard buckle, which I guess it is. But that's a really easy way to tell it's counterfeit. What's next? Okay. Gucci makes some really poorly crafted costume jewelry, but they also do fine jewelry, and they do sterling jewelry, and they've been doing jewelry since the 70s and 80s, so you might come across some. This is kind of my favorite piece of Gucci jewelry ever, so I'm going to talk about it. Gucci handcuffs. I don't know if anyone saw the movie with Miss Lady Gaga, but she portrayed Patrizia Reggiani Gucci, who had her husband murdered in 1995, and on the day that she was found guilty in court, Gucci hung the silver handcuffs in their windows of their stores.
Ooh.
So 25 stores around the world had them. There's apparently 25 pair out there. Someone's trying to sell it for $65,000. I took this picture at Selfridges a couple years back. They were asking $10,000. So. How can you put yourself in clients? So authentication prior to purchase, it just makes sense. And then if you're shopping online or with people you don't know, like, look at the return policy and the guarantee policy. Like it should be stated on a website or somewhere. If it doesn't, it seems like a very not legitimate. A phone number. There's so many counterfeit websites out there where you won't find a phone number or any way to contact anyone. They just want you to enter your credit card number so they can steal your credit card information and never send you the item that's half off. I know we love a cash discount and everyone hates to pay the 3% ACH fee, but as a consumer, you're much more protected by shopping with a credit card than with cash. Avoid social marketplaces. I say this even though I launched the social marketplace for TikTok shop, but I did so to make it a safe place to shop. There's so much user-generated content with counterfeits on social media that at least the ecosystem of e-commerce should be protected, and there should be policies and practices in place. And then track the origin of the shipment. If you're buying something from, let's say, Tiffany.com, or maybe you bought from Tiffany's.com, and you can see it's coming DHL from China, or from Vietnam, or from, I don't know, Ukraine even. That's not right. So that's, we don't want to do that. Because it is so easy now to copy a website, to steal images, to steal IP, to make something look really legitimate. And again, they're not really out there to sell you, well, some of them do want to sell the jewelry, but oftentimes your credit card number is more valuable than the jewelry or the purchase amount that you're making. And then I think, oh yeah, if you can't afford the real thing, try this instead. It's 2025, and I just love the Polaroid brochures. I think it's really fun. I was like, maybe I should wear one, and then I was like, people would think I'm so silly, so I can do this so I can wear one next year. And that's just so whimsical, and it's known for their whimsy, and gosh. When someone wants to see more than one piece at a time in the case, you can just give them the Polaroid to try or whatever. That's cool. And I think that's it. 40 slides.